here we go. Game number 1, Monomaniacs versus mTw.NA. Mono, first ban, first pick. Ezreal getting out there immediately. After a move, I mean, he may have joined, he may be, you know, moving on over somewhere, but he's not in quite yet.
Balls does play a lot of Ezreal, though. So,
yeah.
you know, he's definitely well known for it. Not quite as well known as Aframu. But, yeah, you know, I don't know. He's just a really strong overall player. A couple of standard bans. Alistar, Muffin Cutie plays Alistar all the time. Nocturne, Twisted Fate being banned out. Just solid stuff. So Vile Rose is... where is he going to be going? I thought Vile Rose was an AD, so... I don't know if he's kind of swapped into the team, but Kurtoki is going to be here. He's going to be support since Patoy has left. Don't Mash Me as AD. Karthus being banned out as well.
Yeah, TF can be extremely aggressive with those ganks. Malphite ban coming out as well. Alistar and Malphite are like the 2 huge bans here, but alas, it does leave Shen open. Mono will go ahead and grab that real quick. Still ambiguous first pick. Don't know if he's top, don't know if he's jungle quite yet.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a solid all-around pick. You know, we'll see where they go from here. You know, Nunu would definitely make sense. Tarek is the kind of support that they could go with the Soraka as well. Okay. Probably a support, and then probably Graves. You know, just pick up a standard kind of AD.
Could also, you know, the Leona as always. The
true.
Muffin Cutie signature series right there with the Leona pick could also happen as well.
Is this like pots and pans now? Muffin Cutie has.
I like to think. Well, here's the thing. You have the Leona signature series. You have the Olaf Collector's Edition. You know, what else can we come up with here? But Urgot being considered, Urgot Nunu being grabbed up real quick.
I would say Platinum
here.
Edition, but
Platinum
you know,
Edition.
Platinum's already there. So
there's too many Platinums in this room.
Wow, that's a weird setup.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is kind of weird because I'm not sure. Nunu doesn't really, Urgot doesn't really need.
Yeah,
blood
so
buff.
Here's the thing. Because they have Nunu, Nunu could go as a support bot. And that would be solid. I think it's likely that they might actually go with, I don't know, but Nintendo wouldn't play Nunu. So yeah, it's going to be a support Nunu, which is an unusual lane. But what it probably means is that at MTW, they're already planning on picking a bruiser top or some sort of like strong bruiser champion. So as a result, Mono, they probably need to figure out a way that they can counter that out some. They pick up Soraka and Vayne, actually. So...
yeah. Well, now I'm thinking about it too. Like, how ridiculous would it be? Just Nintendo grabs Nunu, rushes or wriggles, and you'll have the most the most efficient jungle creep killing monster you'll have ever seen in your life.
I've seen Nunu wriggles
really
a lot in the past. Yeah.
I was joking about that actually.
No, it's well. See, the thing is, he's slowed down as a jungler. I am like absolutely beat here. I'm yawning and everything. He's slowed down as a jungler, so you already have the blood boil. So you buff yourself. The wriggles, it helps speed you up. Wriggles had been nerfed a number of times, so you know that's kind of an issue. I definitely think that Xin works as a pick, and I wouldn't be surprised for them to pick it either as Nintendo. I think Xin definitely fits Nintendo's MO, though Olaf is open.
Or actually,
but they could also throw Xin in that top lane, and he would be just a solid top laner.
Also, a thought came to mind too. Could it be possible we could be seeing a Nunu top? Because I've seen that once or twice in solo queue. I've seen actually a lot in normals, even just a lot of people really favoring AP Nunu top lane.
Yeah, it can be very strong. I'm kind of curious where they're going. I guess Nintendo might be playing Nunu, which I've never seen Nintendo play Nunu before. He really likes those hyper-aggressive 80 bruiser kind of junglers, but we'll see how that works. I'm sure it'll be fine. He's a strong overall jungler.
Yep.
But yeah, Nunu top, you go AP Nunu, your lane sustain is great, and then you just constantly spam those snowballs. It can be really annoying to lane against. He can be pretty safe. LeBlanc really doesn't make sense, but we'll see where they go with it. Ryze, right now, MTW, they have a standard kind of tanky lineup with Urgot and Ryze. They need that 80 bruiser to finish it off, and then the Blood Boil, they can use it on someone like Jax in that top lane, and then Nunu probably going to be in the jungle, like 99% certain that he'll be in the jungle, and as a result, Mono actually picking up Malphite, or I'm sorry, Olaf. So they can either send Olaf or Shen in that top lane, depending on if they want a more passive farmer or a more aggressive one, and then kind of decide from there.
Yeah, Cassiopeia makes sense here too. Solid mid. Orianna works too, actually, which you can actually throw the orb just right onto Olaf. He'll just charge right into the team. Shen could work as well. There's Aurelia being considered for MTW, so I think it may very well be the jungle Nunu we've all been looking for.
Yeah, it's going to be jungle Nunu, but I'm kind of surprised they don't have someone a little bit more auto attack oriented than Aurelia, but Aurelia is fine. Aurelia, once she's fed, if she gets any items or whatnot, she can be extremely powerful through the mid and then late game. She just becomes so tanky, and then diving on the back line, particularly against someone like Vayne. Aurelia works very well against Vayne because you want to make sure you can get into that back line and try and pick up those kills, or at the very least dissuade her from dealing as much damage as she normally would. But Monomaniacs actually, with the double shield and then the Soraka support comp, so essentially kind of a triple support kind of thing, they can provide a lot of support for Vayne. They have the nice AoE from Orianna to try and throw things off, but it's going to be tough. If Vayne doesn't get off to a good start, then mTw's team is going to be just so tanky that it's going to be extremely difficult for Mono to kill them. And
granted, yeah, Vayne does have a lot of sustain coming in from Soraka, but it can only do so much when you're caught in the ult, when you're caught in the swap, and actually, we've seen I think during our face-off qualifiers, I believe, where Vayne would be very commonly paired up with a Nunu. The Blood Boil does give that extra movement speed, and you have the tumble. You can go ahead and actually evade those evade all the acid coming from Urgot, and for a time it's actually pretty fine. And you can just go ahead. You're pretty speedy. You can get away from being targeted from that ult, but I'm concerned. I think I'm legitimately concerned.
Well, like you said, Vayne Nunu is a very nice combo. Nunu on the other side, not so much. So Nunu, with the attack speed slow, works perfectly against Vayne, since primarily their damage output is Vayne-centric. Olaf will be fine. Shen, can scale well into late game, but they really need Vayne to get off her damage output. So we'll see how that kind of works out. But the big issue is that they have Urgot, which can kind of shut down Vayne, which kind of surprises me as to why they are running Nunu in the jungle. So, like, Urgot and Nunu, it's just a weird match because you're not going to run Nunu support for Urgot. You could, but it's just not the greatest matchup ever. It doesn't bring the same thing to the lane that, like, a Taric, Soraka, or Janna would. And then also you have to consider Urgot. You want to pair Urgot with an aggressive jungler that you can just be like, hey, guess what? My ult's up again. Alt, swap into the jungler, you're dead. And that's kind of a situation that Nunu can't do. He doesn't thrive as a ganking jungler. He can get some damage to the slow. Once you swap them out of position, he can just chase down the entire lane, so it should be okay. But it's not quite as aggressive as you would normally expect. And then late game, it's just, I don't know. We'll see. I think one thing that Nunu does bring to the table is the slow for Vayne. So that's the big thing. Malphite was out of there. They could have maybe gone with the Lee Sin, but Nunu has a little bit easier job applying that slow. And so because Vayne is short range, Vayne will have to walk into the Nunu ultimate, will have to walk through the Nunu slow and whatnot. So that kind of a slow could maybe set him off his game. So we'll have to see if that's the case.
Yeah, it's also just a matter of Nintendo getting farmed in the jungle, chomping down on those minions, because I can imagine an Urgot swap into a Nunu ult like already in progress, but it's still kind of tricky. That's just I'm thinking of like pipe dreams here. That's like optimal situations, but I doubt that's really actually going to happen.
Oh, you can dream though.
I can dream.
That's a beautiful thought.
A guy can dream. A guy can dream of many wonderful things. But we'll just have to see how this one works out. Shen going to be in the jungle. Olaf taking the top lane for Mono. So Olaf versus Aurelia. So and then again, you also have Shen going to be in the jungle, going with the Ghost instead of Flash. So actually, I can imagine with that kind of setup, very much how Malphite synergizes with Orianna. You put the orb on them, they dash on in, or in this case, they can ghost on in, get the initiation they want, and then throw off that disruption, throw off the orb, get everyone a nice one little tight package.
Well, the big thing with the Shen Ghost is usually you want to pair Shen with someone who's a really aggressive initiator. And so usually, Shen's kind of more of the backup plan or to peel people off your AD. So someone like Malphite or something, but they don't have that. So both Shen and Olaf, they have the Ghost. Olaf Ghost is pretty common, or it's almost, what you always run. But Shen Ghost, it's because they don't have a great single initiator, so they need Shen to get in, like you said, with that Orianna combo. So in order for him to get in with the Orianna bulb, it's just easier if he can chase them down and then try and chase through the whirlwind. Whereas a flash, you flash in, Monsoon goes off from Janna, and then all of a sudden you're sitting around like, wow, that kind of was a waste of my time. But yeah, so that'll work fine. One thing with Nunu is he's not, again, not the most aggressive jungler, so it will allow Shen to just safely farm into that later game, and we'll see how that'll work. Because Shen, he does scale very well into late game. as far as just being like a tank and a disruptive kind of force. And yeah, he can, counter out any of the early aggression that mTw is trying to do to try and stall off the game.
And you'll also see Nintendo boots, ward, and potion. So I think that means he's going to be trying to get an early ward down over by Mono's red to see if he can't go ahead and chomp it immediately when he's done with blue. He's going to be putting that thing somewhere for some level of counter jungling, and maybe just go ahead and try and snack on the blue wraith if Mono is unprepared as well. But you see right now Orianna and Olaf guarding up by the blue. Vayne and Shen here guarding the race, looking for the entrance to the red, and we'll see if mTw can actually go ahead get in on this, put their ward down, see if they can't steal some minions.
Well, that was actually my old favorite jungle path on Nunu.
Oh,
you
yeah.
start off with the boots, the ward, and health pot. You go down and you just label that red. But Shen is over here, so Lexvink trying to get that that wraith before Nunu can come in and before he can steal it. And we'll see how that'll work. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of sitting back. He's actually moving over to their blue to maybe ward it. But really nice job from Orianna there with the vision to keep him out of there.
Good job. Good job to have that thing in there. Good notion. And it's a ward in a pinch. That's definitely what some abilities like the orb do. It's a huge advantage for actually having any Orianna on your team for those level 1 invades too. But it looks like Nintendo, he's going to be he's going to realize there's really no entrances for him. Everything's blocked off. You might as well just snack on your own wolves and see if you can't get anything going from there. But you also got Muffin Cutie and Balls actually going for the invade.
Yeah, they're coming in actually for the big golem. So they miss out the mini golem. They get the small one, but it's really not that much golden experience. And as a result, they're kind of set behind on lane. If they want to take it now, it's it's just going to slow them down. It slows down Shen a little bit because it's not going to respawn, but he can go take it himself. And as a result, we'll see actually whether Vayne and Soraka go ahead and get it. Lexvink picking up his red, they will bypass it. So the issue is if they were to try and get it then, they would miss out on a couple of minions of golden experience, and that would really just throw them behind.
Yeah, if the minions weren't already in the middle of the lane, then maybe it might be a better prospect, but unfortunately here is not. And then you see both junglers actually going for standard paths, both looking to end near the top lane. You got Shen skipping the wolves, going straight on in for the blue. His smite has been used though, so it's going to take a little bit of effort. But then you do have Nintendo grabbing the race, and now he's looking for the invade, see if he can get anything. Is he going to put the ward down over by the blue? He may very well. Going on in, Shen's smite is down. There's the ward coming from Nintendo. The flash over and the snack grabs the blue buff, steals it straight away from Shen. And now it's just a matter of can he escape, and I think he will.
Yeah, Holiest Don coming down to help him out there, but Nintendo, that's one of the things he's always brought to the table is he's one of the most aggressive counter jungling players in the jungle. So that's really nice play there, and he's actually coming up into this top lane. He's level 3. He doesn't have the red buff, but he did slow down Shen a little bit, and he's actually coming right onto Olaf. Aurelia jumping in, gets the equilibrium strike, the slow coming off, and he only has the ghost to get out of there. So the slow will keep him in place for a little bit. He's going to take some nasty damage. Have to back off, and all of a sudden Aurelia is in complete control of that top lane.
Very well done. X-Hazard's going to have a rough time there, and meanwhile Nintendo can just go ahead, retreat to his own jungle, start on his red, grab that, have double buff, and go for more ganks. And with that fresh blue buff too, he's going to be a little bit stronger. Meanwhile, Shen, he's going to have to be at his own devices in the jungle, looking to catch up from that. Some quick shots going down on Kentucky, down in the bot lane, Balls with the acid, getting that lock on, and really putting the pressure down on Amano.
Yeah, and Soraka, it turns into a sustain lane. With the armor, Soraka can counter out a lot of that damage from Urgot. But even so, the harass advantage on Vayne is there in Urgot's favor. So they'll try and take advantage of that. Both, supports getting nice wards in the bush to, make sure they can keep control there. Lexvink has to get out of there. Nunu just being extremely aggressive in, trying to continue to counter jungle him. And that's one of the nice things you want to do against him. But actually, Aurelia diving in on Olaf is able to pick up that first blood along with that ignite.
Walks away also with the ignite on him. But that's fine. He'll go ahead. He'll go back to base, buy a few nice things for himself there. We'll see what he picks up in just a second. Ice Ball going down into the face of Balrose just for a little bit of harass. 2 long swords and a ward and a mana potion. Going back up top lane for Holiest Don. Looking for a brutalizer real quick, I believe.
Yeah, and Nunu actually coming in once again, stealing those wraiths. Yeah, and the Consume is just such an excellent counter jungling tool. Get in and out of there. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, that Brutalizer, that could be extremely aggressive in that top lane against Olaf because he's behind. He actually has to go for a Doran Shield, which is a very strong item. It'll allow him to just kind of sustain there and be tanky, but it does set him behind his build a little bit. Shen sitting up top here. They did see him walk through the minions, but Holy it's Don baiting it out as Nintendo comes in, and they're going to try and turn this around.
But there you go. There's a whole bunch of damage going on in Rally, but will Shen be able to escape? No. Nintendo follows up with just a smack to the face and going to take him down. Snowball going down onto X Hazard, but there you go. There are the reckless swings. All that true damage going down onto Nunu, but hey, he's got the consume. He can snack out a minion, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, and there's this massive wave pushing away from X Hazard at this point in time, so they can just completely deny him a lot of this golden experience. Aurelia can continue to be extremely aggressive and just has a massive gold advantage right now over him. So we'll see how that progresses. It's generally a really even lane, Olaf versus Aurelia. Aurelia, once she hits 6, she has the sustain advantage. Though Olaf has some sustain as well, but Olaf, if they're just going head to head, all out for a kill, Olaf has a little bit more sustained damage, but Aurelia does have a lot of nice bursts, so that really puts her in a good situation to pick up kills during ganks, as we've seen so far. And with the early edge, she can just constantly abuse them. But in the meantime, Lexvink coming in the mid lane, Mandatory Cloud able to easily back out of there.
Yeah, so Shen needs to catch up just a little bit. He may want to just sit back from in the jungle, or at least what's left of it. You got Olaf top lane though. X Hazard getting extremely low with Holiest Dawn. Equilibrium Strike gonna be in range something, anything. Not well. There you go. Waiting for it. I was gonna say it's like Don already used the ult.
Yeah, so he's able to get in there. And Nunu actually making his way down bottom, so Balls is going to want to get some aggressive damage here. But Muffin Cutie baiting it out, actually throws off the exhaust, the cleanse from Don't Mash Me, but then Muffin Cutie barely able to get out of range as Nintendo comes in with that Ice Ball slow. He's trying to pick up the kill, but one more attack isn't quite enough to do it, so Don't Mash Me will go down as Nunu is actually turning onto Kurtoki. We'll get some nice damage there as well. The flash up didn't want to be in range of that ball, but actually he hits him, so one more attack. Another little Acid Hunter
there's
actually
a heal.
backs off. Wow.
Oh,
the
no
armor.
Balls. No, nice summoner heal. Saving the day. Minions, don't do it.
Muffin
Minions. Cutie. There we go. Kurtoki going down from behind the backboard on that snowball. I thought Balls was going down to the minions for a second. Oh, but there you go. Holy's just trying to make something happen there.
Yeah, and Muffin Cutie had just such a fantastic play, recognizing Balls, or if you want, you can call him Bali. The island in the South Pacific. Yeah, he's Balls.
He's a big bear Balls.
But yeah, Muffin Cutie actually came in and tanked the minions for a second, drew off the aggro so that he could get out of there, and didn't have to worry about going down. So really nice job. 5-0 so far for mTw. Just completely abusing mono right now.
That's pretty much abuse in nearly every lane. Nintendo's doing a fantastic job very early on, doing what he does. Very aggressive in the jungle, stole that blue early on, continues to steal the race, and he's got a lucky pick on him in addition to the heart of gold, looking for those GP10 builds. X Hazard, there's really nothing he can do in this lane against Don. He's shut out already. It's not even 10 minutes, he's shut out.
Absolutely insane. And going for the fast Yumus on Aurelia's. It's been a while since I've seen Yumus in use. We've seen a couple of weird uses like Malphite or whatever, but the big thing is that you use, it's kind of like a more aggressive Shirelia's. So Shirelia's is definitely really nice for initiation, but it'll allow him that chance to just chase down Olaf and pick up those kills. So a lot of times he has the burst to win, but he just needs a couple more auto attacks to pick it up. So once he finishes that Yumus, that's definitely going to be really nice. And he's just so far ahead right now. The tabby, but it's not quite enough.
There you go. Quick tumble down from Don't Mash Me into the swap, but Ball manages to get canceled, I believe. Was that a silence from Kurtoki?
Nice silence from Kurtoki. Almost going down there, but he's able to get out. And actually, Nunu coming in once again, trying to steal the blue, but this time there's 3 guys waiting for him, so he'll have to get out of there.
This could be real bad. You do have the ward in the bush, but Nintendo will just back out of there.
Yeah, and he's fast enough where he can just kind of move. Actually, going for the cages before the Philosopher's Stone. So that's kind of an unusual play, but the ability power that can work very well with him. It helps speed up his jungler a little bit. Ball's actually chasing down Kurtoki along with the slow. Shen's coming in, but they don't quite have enough damage. One more Q could maybe pick that off, but he does back out of there in time.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. But an X Hazard just trying to lane, but it may be worthwhile to try and swap places with Shen, even like throw Shen up top lane, have Olaf jungle, just put some of that swap up in there. But still though, Nintendo doesn't quite. I don't think he really needs the Feel of Stone because he did get a little bit of a reduction on his passive. It takes fewer hits to actually go ahead and get the free ability.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine on mana at the very least, and health. He just eat stuff.
Well, that was the best thing about the Nunu. I love that change. Just
Yep.
The fewer hits, mana was a serious issue for him, but it allows him to be a little bit more quicker, allows him to be more aggressive. But Lexvink sitting in the mid lane.
This is something huge. Orianna Ball pulling back Mandatory Cloud just right quick to safety. Shen cannot get that taunt in, and there, kill averted.
Yeah, so they're able to get out of there. But the big thing is Mandatory Cloud through the mid game is just going to be such a beast because he's farming particularly well. They're actually coming in behind Vile Rose with Nintendo. If he can hit the slow, the movement speed just barely getting him out of there, but he's got a long way to kite around them in order to get out.
That's a big circle. This just made a big lap around the forest, and Vile Rose will be just fine.
They're playing a game.
Yeah. This is like, it's a little bit of a game of tag almost.
It's
kind
like
of
Duck
thing.
Duck Goose or something.
I know, right? Get the minions to join and if we can get them to make a lap around the trees and with everybody, that'd make my day. But unfortunately, not. The turret would probably kill all of them anyway.
Yeah. So they do back off, but still a 4K advantage for mTw. But at Mono, they have been able to stop that for a little bit. And Exhaust going off on the Don't Mash Me as Balls is trying to chase him down there. So he'll be fine. But so far, Don't Mash Me, 86 CS to the 60, or sorry, 60 for Don't Mash Me to the 86 for Balls. So, that Vayne pick going right into the Urgot pick, Urgot just in complete control of that lane.
Yeah, and not to mention the ult is also back up, so if you can just go ahead and get the quick swap onto Vayne while Soraka's silence is down, something could happen. Meanwhile, top lane, holy, it's Dawn. It's just abuse. It's just abuse. Look, X-Hazard's got to be going from full to dead in just a moment. There you go. Strike, Surge, the ult, and everything. Dawn didn't even get to, he got to 2/3 health. That is the best. That is the best X-Hazard can do right now. And he's got tabbies and 2 Doran shields, and that's not enough.
Yeah, and he can't even get in there, but actually Don't Mash Me getting onto the other side of Balls. The swap after the Condemn back, and then the heal actually on Balls, so he's pretty tanky. The Nunu ult as well, separating them a little bit. One more Q is able to pick it up onto Don't Mash Me. Really nice play there. Shen was trying to bait it out, trying to see if they could, maybe force Urgot in a dangerous situation, but Nunu had been waiting. He knew he wanted those kills with that Urgot swap.
And with that kill and with that swap right now, mTw they're in a pretty good position to go ahead and take the Dragon real quick here, in which they do extend the gold lead even further on the 13th minute. And it's almost nearly a 6K lead for mTw this early on. 0-7. Look, they may very well be going for a flawless victory here.
That would be definitely nice. We actually need to get a sound file or something.
We do.
For tournaments if there's ever a flawless victory, just for that one situation. But the big thing is, if you look at the team comps, they already have a 7-0 lead, but their team is just built to win in the mid game, and they're going to be so tanky. It's going to be tough for Mono to respond, and they can't even stay in lane to farm at this point. So mTw can start abusing them. Then when team fights happen, mTw is just going to be way too tanky for Mono to just even do anything. I don't know. So we'll see how it'll kind of progress. Olaf 57 CS to Aurelia's 112. Vayne 72 to Urgot's 103. Rise, doing a good job, but Orianna is generally doing okay. Shen actually ulting in as Aurelia has to get out of there because Nunu was coming in as well, but they weren't able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, and just when you see that orb come in, when you see the shield come on in, it's just like, you know what? No, we're not going to mess.
Right.
We made you waste the ult on someone we can kill so incredibly easy anyway. I mean, I question why Shen even bothered, actually.
Well, I mean, if he hadn't come in, then he would have died. So that's the easy answer there. Katurki getting over the wall. But, I mean, it's just the constant pressure that they're putting up in the top lane. So as a result, Lexvink, he kind of has to sit up here. Otherwise, Olaf won't be able to farm, and, that's what we've seen so far. Nice job from, Don't Mash Me Katurki here, stealing some of the jungle minions. That's definitely something you need to do when you're behind. So just, try and keep up. Allow them to push into you so they can, steal the mini golems. They can steal the wraiths. When he comes back in the lane, it'll be pushed right up to his tower so he can continue to farm a little bit. But having the Brutalizer and the Glacial Shroud so early in this game, it's going to be extremely difficult, and it's the same thing with Aurelia. Aurelia already has a Yumu's and can build pure tank from now on, basically, and just be unkillable.
It's the cooldown reduction, it's the damage, it's the armor pen, it's just everything in one amazing little package that may actually vary. It's on 2 of your two of your big name champs here. Aurelia's getting so incredibly farmed. Urgot's getting farmed as well. And the thing is, though, right now Mono can't actually afford to build health, to build armor to try and counteract that. You know, I mean, even you look at Orianna right now, investing all the money into GP10 items at the time being. There's really not a whole lot of damage in those. That's you're looking to really extend it to the mid game into the late game when you start stacking those so hardcore. And with this kind of lead, you may not even make it there.
Well, and they don't have champions that naturally itemize into those kind of defensive items. So, you know, like Malphite and Ryze and Urgot, those are all champions that just naturally itemize into that armor and can shut down a lot of that damage. You know, that's not the case for Mono. Olaf, he can get pretty tanky, but usually you'll go with more of a support build. He's actually going double Dorns into Chain Vest, so just pure armor, basically. You know, which that'll help shut down how badly Aurelia is beating him. But when he comes into the mid-game fights, he's just not going to be as tanky as he needs to be in order to survive walking through the team. Like, Ryze is just going to destroy, you know, Olaf, even without being able to hit that snare.
Yeah, Olaf is essentially going to be turned into a true damage dispenser. But there you go, Vile having to flash out to try and just get out from some of that harass. But Electric does get caught there, trying to retreat on a way. Ryze going to be grabbing that kill pretty quick. But here comes X-Hazard, but not a whole lot's actually going to be happening there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, you do have Vayne getting extremely low. Quick heal from Kurtoki is going to keep him topped off, but there you go. Nintendo is there with the snowball. There you go. Vayne with the ult tumbling away, trying to get some damage, but the slow is too much to deal with. Pretty much chopping off half of the duration of the ult.
Oh, in the meantime, Mandatory Cloud coming onto Vile Rose. The ultimate from Orianna just barely getting him out of there, but there's the snare. One more attack. Instead, a Q will be able to pick that up. And they're really struggling to keep up in this game. So, you know, we'll see once mTw starts to, you know, kind of group up. You know, they can continue to put on pressure. It's wild to see how abusive they're being in lane, just completely shutting down the farm. Like Urgot in the bottom lane, you know, he's been just walking up, tanking the turret some, just zoning them away from the minions, where Vayne, you know, can't even come up and farm. Look at Vayne has to just sit in the jungle and lose minions to the tower because there's just there's no safe options for her.
Mid lane, you got Shen being sandwiched in right between his towers, and that's the power of mTw right now, is the fact that they can go ahead and just dive without really any repercussions here. And look at Shen. Shen's level 8 right now.
Yeah, they just die in a matter of seconds, and Nintendo being extremely aggressive. Vayne can't even punish him for it. So Vayne, you know, doesn't even have enough damage to take him down. They can just kind of run around and not have to worry about anything. You know, 10k gold at this point. They have all 3 of the outer turrets. They can, you know, back off, continue to deny, you know, any possible farming from any of these players. Actually, Holy, it's Don chasing down X-Hazard once again, along with that Yumu's. He just can't even lane against Aurelia at this point. Aurelia is just that far ahead that there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, I think, you know, the entire point of Mono's team was to, you know, get the Vayne farmed, get her fed, and just set up the fights for her. But she wasn't getting fed.
Yeah,
quite the opposite. She's only got a Vamp Scepter and a Dorn's Blade and Tier 2 boots. That's all she's got. Man. Don. Really, Don? You're getting the Sword of the Occult? Really? Come on.
If he's going to get his kills, I mean, Olaf is almost worthless right now at 0-4.
Janna's got the Mage Eye. Nintendo bought a Mage Eyes. Come on. Everyone's got Mage Eyes now.
You know what? I think this game might be over because Olaf has actually sold his Chain Vest, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Mandatory Cloud picking up the kill underneath the turret. X-Hazard is here as well. The Nunu ultimate going down, but Vile Rose is pretty low as well. The Shen ult, but there's the double kill for Mandatory Cloud. They do pick it up in retaliation. Nintendo is pretty low, gets the flash out, but the tower hits and take him down. So a double kill for X-Hazard. But Muffin Cutie should be able to get out of there. He has the Monsoon, and you know, if they keep chasing, they're walking right into a very fed Aurelia.
There goes the flawless victory, and you know what? That's shame.
That's true.
Shame on you guys for buying those Mage Eyes. That's what you get.
Yeah, you know, their entire team, Mage Eyes and Sword of the Occult, they're going to be so strong once they get all those stacks.
I think the forfeit may actually come before that actually happens, because we're almost there. It's 30 seconds away.
They've already sold a couple of the players on Mono have already sold a couple of their items. I mean, Vayne has enough for a BF sword at 20 minutes. Just a BF sword. That's it. No icing on the cake or anything. So they're so far behind. There's just not a lot of options. So, I mean, the big thing, we'll see if they surrender, but the big thing, coming in the next game, just not falling quite as far behind. And Nintendo, he's such an aggressive counter jungler. He's so aggressive about moving the team. A lot of times you can catch Nintendo out of position, and people do catch him out of position by just having mid ganks and whatnot when Nintendo is maybe being a little bit over aggressive. Holy It's Dawn actually getting caught out a little bit by Lexvink. They will try and pick up this kill, see if they can take him down. He does have his ultimate, and Urgot is here to support him a little bit, but the exhaust, and he will actually try and pick up the kill. He does go down, but Soraka goes down as well, and now Olaf and Shen are in for a world of pain.
Here comes Swap coming from Urgot, X-Hazard, and Lexvik are still in a little bit of trouble. Nintendo going the chomp, getting all that damage, but there you go. That's a surrender. That's all she wrote. The camera's freaking the hell out because it can't believe it, but there you go. Game 1, real quick for mTw.NA.
Yeah, I mean, they were just so far behind on farm, and I mean, being that far behind on kills, there's just no way to lane in that situation. 188 CS to 97 in the top lane.
Yeah.
Bot lane was 176 to 128. They were just really far behind, and as a result, it was a very easy victory for mTw. I mean, they made a lot of nice plays, mTw did, to put them in that situation. But we'll see, how Mono can come back. Mono, they do have circuit points, so it would be nice to see them, continue to progress as a team and maybe make a push in one of these upcoming tournaments to try and get into the Season 2 championships.
Yeah. I would love. Well, I mean, I love Jungle Nunu, but that blue steal, off the bat, hurt Mono so incredibly much. And here's the thing, Mono, they're on second pick here, so I think a Nunu ban may actually even be warranted here.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, if it's not Nunu, then it's going to be someone else that beats him. So it's not like Nunu in and of himself is inherently overpowered or anything. I mean, Nunu usually you would see him as a support, but they just need to prepare a little bit better for that counter invade. You get up some early wards. If you can't defend your jungle, you need control over the mid lane. So a really aggressive mid laner that can win those matchups. I don't know. You need to be able to win the mid lane, really. You need to put on some pressure in order to support your jungle. So we'll see what happens. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. Then we'll be right back. Game number 2, Mono versus mTw.